Hey, it's the Dino and Joe show. This is Dino, and that man right there is Joe.
What's going on, sir? How are you?
I'm great. How are you?
Absolutely fantastic.
Excellent. So, I have something that I want to try, and I wanted
Okay.
to see if this is the same everywhere. So, what I want you to do right now
Okay.
is I want you to pull up all the networks that you can find in your area, all the Wi-Fi networks.
Okay.
So, pull up your list. Because
Yes.
here's the thing. Do you remember when people used to name their Wi-Fis?
Yeah.
That was like a thing, right? To come up
Of
with
course.
like the funny
Yeah.
name, right? But there's one that people always they do all the time now.
Okay.
And literally I'm to the point where I'm like, it's no longer funny. Now it's
Yeah.
just like really seriously, like you couldn't think of anything else.
Okay.
But I want to see if it comes up in yours because I checked today.
Okay.
It's already in mine. So wait, I'm not going to tell you what it is.
No,
We're
no, no.
just
That's
we're
not, before you tell me, I want to tell
yes.
you what I think it is at the end after I
Oh
check
yeah,
through mine. Do you want me to
absolutely.
just read them off or just preview them and then let me know?
No, we're gonna read them off.
Okay.
We're
Well,
gonna
one of
read
them
off if there's
already.
any good ones. If there's
I
any good ones. Okay.
there's one. Okay. So, well, I'll tell you ours at the very end because we have one that's kind of funny because
And
we're those old people.
right. I'll tell you mine at the very end because I believe we're the same. So
Okay. So it's GoldNet, so nothing crazy there. It looks like a bunch of initials, AT&T, more twins. This one, a little above PG-13 rated. Bang Bros Studio 23. That's one of them.
it's actually good.
Didn't know that was
That's funny. Now
uh
that one you actually do go, I wonder if that's real.
yes, maybe. You don't know. And the funny thing is, that's going to kind of tie into something I want to talk about today, but I'll go into that later.
Oh, that's
Uh,
interesting. That's a
well,
segues. That's a tease right there.
it is a little tease. Pinche Rona, which of course
Yeah.
is
Oh no.
yeah, it's a little bit of a Spanish thing.
Yeah. Yeah. I'm not translating that for anybody.
Yeah,
So
if you
yeah.
just look it up, just look it
Keep
up.
keep to yourself
Uh,
that one.
Hidden Network PC, or excuse me,
I love
PMs,
hidden network, but I can find it.
but I can find it very easily. Oh,
Right.
oh, here's actually a good one. The Promised Land. The Promised
Nice.
LAN, 2.4
Yes.
gigahertz. I like that. That is
That's
really good.
nice.
And that's it. Those are all the ones that I can find.
I have somebody named there's Johnny Five.
Okay.
You know,
Yeah.
number five is alive.
Hmm.
You know, the DeBarge, "Where's Johnny" song was in that movie.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's pretty good. Somebody put their last name on there, so I don't know why they would do that.
Yeah, that's a little too
I
much
have one
information.
that's called Wu Tang Land.
Ooh, see, that's good.
That's
See,
really
that's like the
good,
Promised Land. That's
right?
very clever.
I have WI, which is
Oh, okay.
YMCA. That's
Okay.
a pretty good one,
That's
right? Ooh,
good. I like that.
yeah. And then I have let's see, I have the dreaded one that I can't stand.
Okay. Before you tell me,
Yes.
I have a guess as to what it was because when I've lived at pretty much any other place, I swear this has been there. And if it's not exactly this, it's going to be
A variation?
yes.
Yeah.
It is
Uh-huh.
FBI surveillance.
Yep. But this one is NSA because they
Okay,
stepped up.
sure. They
NSA
took it to the next.
NSA Black Van number
Yep,
2.
exactly.
Like, come
It's
on.
what are we doing here? Who
Yeah,
believes that?
that
But
was funny.
I would
Great.
laugh if it was actually them one of those times.
All right. So what did you name your Wi-Fi network?
So we named this particular name about I don't know a few years ago. We were really getting into um, Modern Family. Great show.
Okay. Sure.
And for
Absolutely.
some reason, we just found the idea of the closet company, closets. That's what we named it. It's just closets, comma closets, exclamation point.
It's very good.
It's
Very
unique. It was
good.
easy to find. People found it. Not everybody found it as funny as us. That's okay. We found it rather
It's
hysterical.
it's all about you. Sure. I mean,
Exactly. I don't
it's
care
for
about
you.
anything. Right.
It
It's
makes me
literally
laugh.
our Wi-Fi network. Exactly. Now, what is
So,
yours?
we went out and had to buy a new system, so we bought a
Okay.
mesh system, right? So we bought Orbi,
Yes. Yes. Yes.
and because from whatever reason, in one end of the house you could get internet, and on the other end of the house you couldn't. It was just bizarre.
Right.
But so
Right.
we went to a mesh system. So ours is to be or not or be.
I like it.
That is the question.
I like that a lot. That's good. As long as the person who has it likes it, who cares what anybody else thinks?
Well, right, exactly.
And there's some people who just keep it the original, like, for us AT&T, like 5 3G and PQ1. It's like, how are you gonna remember that?
Right.
Like,
right.
when I kept it like that, I couldn't remember which one was ours because there were like 5 in the same area who had the very similar thing. So it's like I can't remember which one's ours. So that the Wi-Fi is a very important symbol, I think, to people, because even if they don't find it funny, they appreciate it.
Oh, of course.
I think.
And it's fun to stay at the YMCA.
It really is.
Young man.
I haven't checked ours out around here in a while. I'm glad I did that because we found a few of them that are, well, risque at the least.
Yes, but I do enjoy people's sense of humor with their Wi-Fi. So
I do too. Oh wait, hold on. There's a new one.
Ooh.
Oh no, never mind. It's the name of the thing. I thought it might have been something interesting. It's not.
Okay. I was so excited there.
I was too, and then it really let me down.
Okay.
So I have a question for you.
Okay. What is your question?
Start with the story, then I'll get to my question for you. It all ties together though. I was driving around the other day, and we noticed that there are a few houses in our neighborhood that have a specific feature there. Okay. There's 2 specific things. Now, this brought me back to 2016, 15, somewhere in there. I was talking with a friend that used to work with me, and he's a great dude, funny guy, just unintentionally funny. He's hilarious, though. And he was telling a story about this, and he lives in the same town that I do, and I think he still does. And he was like, hey, so, I heard something kind of crazy, and I've seen it around the area a little bit. I heard that if you have 2 Adirondack chairs in front of your house, that means you're swingers. So, come on over and see what's going on. Yeah, swingers. Like they're swingers.
That's the swinger symbol.
Apparently. And why Adirondack? Have you heard of this?
Well, first of all, I'm a little bit concerned because I have 2 Adirondack chairs on the front porch of my house.
So,
and it does not mean that.
Yeah,
and I've never heard that before.
So I had not either. But here's the thing. I've never thought about how often I've seen it, but I've seen it all over the place. In every place I've lived, I've always seen them. Now, again, do I think all of them, like, for instance, for you, I assume you don't swing?
No.
Okay. No. Just want to make sure. I don't like to assume anything, but I think, like, in your case, it's unintentional. They're just chairs. But some people apparently use it in that way.
It's tough enough for me to just get on the slide and go down. Like, I'm not about to go.
I'm not going to take it to the next level up. Part 2, and this is what I meant by it was tying into that particular Wi-Fi name, right? But part 2 of that, and I heard this from somebody else. If there is a pineapple on the porch or nearby the mailbox, along with 2 Adirondack chairs, that means there's something going on. Like, presently, pop on in.
Like the house is a rocking, so come a knocking. I've never heard this before in my life. Why a pineapple?
Couldn't tell you.
I mean,
I very carefully researched it. I was not about to go down some sort of a weird rabbit hole. I was very cautious. I had Safe Search on.
At what point are you involved in this? And then Tiff comes behind you and goes, "What are you doing?"
Research.
It's research, babe.
Yeah, it's research. I'm just taking a look. Don't worry. Calm down.
Oh, wow.
But it's an interesting thing that I had never heard of before that point. And now like I said, we were driving around and I saw 2 of them, and I'm not kidding. There was a pineapple. Now, it was not a real pineapple, but it was a wooden pineapple on the porch.
Oh my God. I've never.
Did
you knock on the door?
Just I did not.
Do some further research?
We did do a slow drive-by.
Hi, I'm Joe. I'm not here for that. I'm just here to see
research.
Research.
And it was it's just very interesting because that particular house, and I made the following notations of that house. 2 Adirondack chairs, and it was A pineapple. There were no cars in the driveway, no cars in front. So people were sneaky if that's what was going on. That might have also been one of those cases of mistaken identity, as it were. Um, so yeah, that's something that I
Just imagine somebody listening to this and going, "Honey, we got to get that pineapple off the front porch." You're like, "I know we got it in Florida, but we just can't keep it there." That might explain these strange visits we get on when we see them on Ring all the time.
exactly. I have to
showing up at your
wonder.
house.
I have to wonder the question that you asked, I think, early on: why these particular items?
Yeah, I
And
don't
who
understand.
started that?
Right. Where did
It's a
that?
thing.
I know. I know what will be the best covert symbol in the world. Remember those chairs you really like when we were down at the beach? We're gonna use those. And we need something else. Gotta go with it. Gotta be kind of beachy.
Right.
Gotta be like, tropical. I know.
Pineapple.
Pineapple.
That's how. Yeah.
I'm gonna be looking at my trips to the grocery store a lot of different.
I'm saying, ever since I noted, ever since it came back up in my mind and I saw
Wow.
that, especially now that summer is coming around,
Right.
just notice. And then here's my favorite part: if people are outside, like doing lawn work or something, and you see that,
Right.
I'm not saying judge a book by its cover, but take a look at those folks and say, do you think that's maybe they have that intention, or maybe it's just coincidental? It's a fun little game you play up here.
Maybe they're doing a different kind of lawn work inside.
Exactly. They got to make the outside look good to entice people to want to come in. If the yard ain't mowed, people ain't going inside. It'll feel comfortable.
Wow.
Yeah. That was just something I was thinking about the other day that kind of, I don't know, piqued my interest, and I wanted to get your take on it. And I love the fact that you have 2 Adirondack chairs up front.
I do.
But
that's funny.
Tiff made a great point. You don't just buy one chair. You
No.
don't buy 3 chairs. You
No.
buy 2 or 4.
Right.
So
now I got to go buy 2 more.
Right. Well, now that means you're doubly down. So you can't double down on this. You have to buy 1 more to make it an odd number,
Yeah.
or remove 1 and maybe put 1 in front, 1 in back. That way people can't put 2 and 2 together.
That's a lot of work.
To carry the chair around the back, man, it's not that much work. It's worth it to prevent. Mr. Russell, hi. We're here for the we're here for the good time. Oh, is it 7 o'clock already? Dang.
You must have forgot to put the pineapple out front. We were looking for it.
We thought we might have missed it. It must have just get started. Let's get
You're
going.
new to this, aren't you, sir?
All right. We were all beginners at one point. Let's just dive right in.
Oh, man. Nah, that's a whole new one to me.
I mean,
that is amazing.
Yeah, I enjoyed that story because, again, the person who told me, he's the nicest guy in the world, 50s, but he's unintentionally funny because he says things like that. Nice. And he's just trying to make conversation, but it's hilarious because that's just not his personality. And it's just
that's a conversation.
That's good.
An interesting way to start a conversation. Hey, did you ever know this?
Yeah, that's literally how it started too. Just boom, straight with the.
Well, now I want to know if the people with the Bang Brothers Wi-Fi have Adirondack chairs out front.
You know what I'm going to do? I usually take a little walk either in the morning or in the evening. I'm going to walk around. I'm going to take a look. I'm going to see. I'm going to take my phone, look at how many bars or how much Wi-Fi signal. When we get closer to it, I'll be like, oh, there's those 2 Adirondack chairs. There are a number of chairs on balconies and porches, but I haven't seen any Adirondack yet. But I will keep an eye out.
A little bit more research for you.
A little bit. All right, we're back. That was a great little commercial break, wasn't it?
That was awesome. I ran. I took care of business and came back.
That's folks. By the way, that's the only reason we did that. Dean really had to go to the bathroom.
It's been waiting for so long
the whole time.
Hey, so I know that you're not necessarily a car guy when it comes to like car repair.
Mm-hmm. That is incredibly accurate.
Right. So, like, what's the extent of your ability to repair a car? Like, could you do?
Are you ready for this? Because I've done
Ready.
these things. I've done these
Okay.
things.
I'm ready.
So when I was in driver's ed,
Yes.
we got a flat tire. Now, by the way, before the flat tire, my driver's ed teacher used our driving practice to
Okay.
run errands for her. We would go to her house. We would go to Jewel. We would do all of that. I'm not kidding. The worst driver's ed teacher ever. Like
Awesome.
the more I think about it, the worse it was. But leaving her house one time, we got a flat tire.
Okay.
Well, I was the only person she was willing to do. It was me and another person. And she looked at them, looked at me, looked at them, looked at me. Now, this kid was I think 16 years old. I think that's when I got my driver's license.
Okay.
And, I was 16 years old and I was a pretty big kid. I'm a big guy now. I was a big kid. And this kid was like, barely 16 years old. And he was like a noodle, thin, tiny.
Sure. Oh, you paused mid-story. You literally froze mid-story.
And I'm back now?
And you're back now.
You're back now. Okay.
And we're back again.
And we're back. So I'm spinning, I'm taking off the lug nuts, doing all that stuff. So I can replace the tire, I think is the point of this story. I can replace the tire.
Okay.
I have replaced windshield wiper blades. I just did that recently.
Although they do that for you now at any auto parts store you go to. But
okay, I lied. I had it done about a month and a half ago, and the guy did it for me. But I can do it. Don't call me out like that. But I can do it.
I could if I wanted to, but I didn't want to take that job away from him.
So I can do the front ones, no problem. So I have a car with a rear wiper. I had no idea how to do that. So the guy showed me.
Those can be a little bit. Yeah, those can be a little bit.
I feel confident with those. So okay, I went over tires. I went over wiper blades. I can fill my car with gas. So if the thing is on E, that's sometimes a problem. I got that knocked out. I know how to replace windshield wiper fluid. That is boom. You need that done, you call me. I got you.
Gotcha.
And I'm gonna say that's probably about the extent of it. Oh, if you need to put on license plates, I'm really good at taking the little screws off.
Oh, wow, look at you. That is a wealth of car knowledge right
there. My grandfather was a mechanic for Yellow Freight for a number of years.
Okay.
And he obviously passed along some of the more important things to me.
Sure. And can you drive stick? Do you know how to use a car that has a clutch?
Appropriately, no. I can do it. Like the car will go, but you're going to smell a lot of burning, and it's going to be one of these rides the whole time.
Give it a whiplash.
So it's a different question.
Going.
It's a different question. Can I drive it? Yes. Can I do it correctly and properly? No.
Right.
I will. So, you will burn through many transmissions.
So let me tell you my favorite driver's ed story.
Yes, please.
So when I was in high school, we took driver's ed as a class in high school.
Yes.
And we would go out for an hour. There'd be 4 of us, right, in the car. There would be three of us that would have to drive, and then the instructor. My instructor read the paper while you drove.
Okay,
Full on paper in front of his face, like read the paper.
Like experience to mine, not the best driver.
You slow down a little bit, right? Like
love the concern.
So we're driving, and we're doing highway driving.
Okay.
And I'm not joking. He fell asleep. And nobody wanted to say anything because, you're a 16-year-old kid and this is the instructor who's also a teacher at the school and you didn't want to say anything, right? And so you just kept driving. Now the class is an hour. 3 of us are supposed to drive in 1 hour. I drove for 45 minutes before he woke up.
Got a little extra practice. What's wrong with that?
Literally, he's like, where are we at? And I said, we're like 45 minutes outside of town. He said, well, what? We got to get back. So I drove the other 45 minutes back. The other 2 people in the back seat never got to drive.
So you got an hour and a half worth of
hour and a half of driving. I was late for class because I had a class the next class. We all did.
Right.
And I had to explain how my driver's ed teacher had fallen asleep and none of us were brave enough to wake the guy up because nobody wanted to be like, dude, you fell asleep. So
I wouldn't either. You kidding me?
45 minutes out, 45 minutes back.
You're
Yeah.
talking to the guy whose teacher made us run errands for her. So this was not. So here's the thing. That is a school teacher. That is a person who was
Right.
paid for by this was a separate company that we paid money
Oh,
to. We were
wow.
paying them money for
Well,
me
that's
to run errands for them.
phenomenal. That's awesome. So, all
So
right. So eventually you get to your first
yes.
car. What was your
Yes.
first car?
My very first car was a 1995 Chrysler LeBaron
All right.
convertible.
I'm going to show you what my first car was,
Okay.
if I can
It's gonna be some
operate
kind of
this phone properly. So what you said it was what?
a
Chrysler
19
LeBaron?
LeBaron. Oh yeah. Now,
Ooh,
okay. While you're pulling that up, quick funny story. People are going to really hate me for this. My dad, God love him, said, "All right, son. Our neighbor has 2 cars on sale. You pick whichever one you want. It's yours." Now, our neighbor, very nice guy, pretty well off.
right.
He had I think it was a '99 white Mustang convertible,
Okay. And you
and
didn't pick that.
a 1995
Uh-huh.
Chrysler LeBaron convertible. Now, I don't know if you were familiar with the movie Freddy Got Fingered with Tom.
Yeah, I know
So
of it.
he drove a Chrysler LeBaron convertible. That was primarily what caused my decision. So I'm standing there in front of my neighbor and my father, and
Uh-huh.
he's like, "All right, son, which one do you want to do?" And I said, "Dad, I thought about it long and hard, but I know which one I want." And he's looking at me like he's going to be proud, like my son's going to drive a Mustang for his first car. I love it. And I say, "I'm going to take the LeBaron." And when I say I've never seen two men have their faces just faster, they were befuddled with why that was the decision I made.
I am convinced you tried to do everything to not be cool as you possibly could
It's
as a kid.
That's how I was born. I was born this way. I don't know what to tell you. I can't. Yeah.
Would
Mhm.
you like? So this is my first
Yes.
car. Can you see this?
Oh, that's a really cool car.
That is a 1969 Plymouth Satellite.
Okay. That's
Uh,
a really
for
cool.
car guys, it was a 383 four barrel,
Oh,
which
okay.
means that it was a big block Mopar engine that had a 4 barrel carburetor on it, and that thing got me in a lot of trouble. I probably should have been dead in that car,
Hmm.
but it was the greatest car that I could have possibly ever owned, especially as a kid. And I wish I still had it today. Like I literally today still like search for that car online just to see if somebody's selling it, because like that to me is like that car. And people have this affinity to the first car they drove, right?
It's true.
Now I went to, so that car ended up not being the most reliable car that you ever had in your life. And so I had to get rid of it. And I ended up in a 4-door Ford Topaz, which, by
Okay.
the way, there's nothing glamorous about that car. I was
Okay.
at like a college and I barely drove, but when I drove back to see my family, right, it was a couple hours away. So I had that car for a little bit, and that car I hated, and then went to trucks, and then had a trucks for a long time, different Ford trucks, and then ended up with the Xterra, which was what probably my second favorite thing that I drove.
Hmm.
And now I have a Nissan Altima.
Okay.
So I got the sensible family car.
Well, that makes sense. When I think back on my car history,
Yeah.
so number one, that's it right
Yeah,
there.
you were
She was
styling in
she was
that.
a beaut. So a couple of things I'll
Wait,
teach
wait.
you.
I really have to question that sitting next to a Mustang.
Let me see if I can
You
find the Mustang
legitimately were
too.
like, man, I don't want that Mustang, especially a Mustang convertible of that age. No, 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 no. I'm gonna go with the other product. I'm gonna go with a Chrysler product
Let's see.
that has absolutely no
Now,
cool factor and no I
oh,
like
here.
girls factor at all.
So can I be honest? The other reason I didn't like it, it had
Yeah,
a thing called a bra on it.
yeah,
So it
of course
looked
it.
like that.
You know
I
those come off.
hated that. Yeah, I
Oh
was
no,
a young kid. I don't
that
know
was
these
I
things.
forgot that was one of the things that you could not do.
Yeah, no,
That didn't fall under your list of what you could do.
that was not going to happen. So that was that. So it was between those two. I obviously chose the better choice. I still love that car. I wish I still had it. After that, I got a Ford Focus. the annoying part about getting a Ford Focus is this was during the time when they were running the Focus and Adele deal.
Yeah.
Yeah. Everybody asked me, did you get a Focus and Adele, blah, blah, blah. And I was like, shut up. I did not. I bought it at CarMax for like $7,000. Get away from me.
Oh my God, that's awesome.
I drove that thing.
You know what my first car cost me? $550. Bought it at an auction.
Yeah.
Yep. Still wish I had that car.
I'll be honest, that is a killer. Like, I feel like everybody from probably 1980 earlier had a kick-ass first car. My dad, I'm not a car guy, I don't remember, but I know it was he showed me pictures. It's a killer car. It was really awesome.
My dad drove some killer cars, 57 Chevy.
You don't
early
get that
Corvettes. He had one, I think it was a DeSoto. And it was like 50s or 60s, and that thing had a race car engine in it. He said that he said it used so much gas that's why they got rid of it, because they'd literally come up to a stop sign and it would shake. The whole car would shake, like it wanted to go, right? Big engines, that was the style, and especially the Midwest. And he said that like you couldn't go like 6 blocks, it would take a quarter of tank of gas. Like it just that thing went, I guess. But he always said he wished he held on to that car for me to have when I was in like high school. So
that'd have been awesome.
Yeah, but then I went out and got my own Mopar, and I rue the day that I got rid of that car.
Well, it's funny now that
I can also do more to a car than you can, but that's all right.
Oh, 100%. Well, here, let me show you proof. The LeBaron, it got nixed, and I went to the Ford Focus because I was driving home from a girlfriend's house one morning, and it just started smoking, and I was like, "Oh, that's probably not a great thing."
That's usually not a good sign. No,
I haven't. Usually the exhaust is in the rear. Maybe they read it. So it was. I don't even know what was wrong with it. My dad took it home and looked at it, and he's like, "Yeah, we're just gonna junk it, and we'll get you a new car." So I spent $7,000 on a Ford Focus. Exact same thing happened. It turns out also you should change your oil more than like once a year. Did you know that?
Yeah,
oil needs to be changed more than once a year.
Yeah. You know who changes the oil in my house?
Who's that?
Me.
Oh yeah.
Well, that's one of those things that I can do.
Okay. I mean, I'm sure I could do it. I've seen people do it. You unscrew the pan, you put the thing, check the dipstick, and you're done. I just don't have the tools.
Yeah, you forgot to put oil back in it.
I mean, obviously you're going to do that. You're going to put the WD-40 or the MK Ultra.
Is that the duh part or the do part?
Yes, it's both. It was both of those. The do was the glug 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 of the oil going.
There you go.
Can you follow me, please? Try to keep up with my advanced, automotive talk. I told you my grandfather was a diesel mechanic.
I cannot wait to hear your description of changing spark plugs. That's going to be phenomenal.
Because they spark, right? Spark plug spark. That's the name. It's like the people who name everything in the kitchen. It's a refrigerator. It is a toaster. It's a spark plug.
Refrigerator?
Well, I mean, it's to toaster, to refrigerator. You get it. Anyways, the point is, all of my cars, with the exception of the last 3, when I became an adult, have not broken down because of my lack of changing oil or some key mechanical maintenance that needs to be done at a certain time to keep it functioning. So it was a Chrysler LeBaron to a Ford Focus to a Nissan Sentra to my Ford C-Max. We call it the Beast.
The Beast, yeah.
Because that thing it weighs a lot.
Yeah.
And it does not go fast.
What you gave up in speed, you gained in mass.
Yes, mass. Yep. Every now and then a cop will pull me over because I didn't hit the truck weigh-in.
Yeah.
Again,
I'm pretty sure that you've done everything you can to pick every car that is not cool.
I have. So this car is entering its last legs. It's almost at 250,000 miles. So I have actually taken care of this one. Well, okay. I mean,
sort of. I mean,
mechanically, I have. Yeah. The back door panel came off.
How does that even happen?
Apparently you close it too hard or too often. I don't know. But the little, and I know what the problem is, and I can easily fix it. Yes, the clips were broken off. And in fairness, I think they were just cheap clips, because it has happened to me before where one of the clips has popped off. I've just replaced it and it was fine. But now all of them had done it. So I couldn't open the door. So I popped it and the whole thing came off. So now I'm rocking a car with no panel. So luckily we're in a quarantine and I don't want anybody in my car and it's not a big deal.
That's awesome.
Is this a cool enough car for you? A Volkswagen Jetta. That's probably going to be my next car. That's what I'm looking at.
Okay. I mean, they're good, sensible cars. Like, there's nothing wrong with it.
That's what here's the thing. Try to picture me behind like a Challenger or a Mustang. It's just not the right look. Look at this face. Not that kind of guy. It's just not going to go well. It's not going to go well. It's like me being in like a Ford F-150 or something. My dad drives one of those. Yeah. He's a cool guy. He's from Michigan. Like that's in his blood. When I drive that thing, I look like a freaking toddler behind it. I'm like, oh, let's see what we can do. What does this button do? What does 4x4 mean? I don't know what that means. That's different. What's a hitch? It just doesn't work.
Oh, that's classic.
Yeah, that's me in a nutshell.
I cannot wait until your midlife crisis.
And
you buy like a Lamborghini or something.
So here's the thing. I have never been a person once in my life. You actually had a car I wanted for a long time, an Xterra. I wanted an Xterra
love them.
Pretty much all throughout high school and most of college. But I've never wanted a fancy, like I look at some of these things like a McLaren.
Yeah.
For me, that is just an atrocious looking car. I'm sure it's super fast and I'm sure there are a million reasons people love it. For me, aesthetics are more important than speed because I go 5 over the speed limit everywhere I go. That's just how I am. People hate driving with me sometimes. But, you know, that's what it is.
You're driving slow enough to drive Miss Daisy?
Yeah. She might even say, pick up the pace a little bit, Sonny. My mother, who I love, is like, your father. So my dad would be driving ahead of me. My mother would say, you need to go a little faster. If I was driving her for whatever reason, keep up with your father. Because he'll do 90. He'll just get there. And if you're supposed to get there in 4 hours, you'll get there in 3:15. I'll get there in maybe 4:45. Take a little extra 45 minutes, stop off, grab a little something to eat. No rush. Just get there safe.
You are literally an old man.
I know.
I am not in a hurry.
I'm fine.
And I'll get there when I get there.
I'll get there. Say la vie.
Excellent.